With the border security measures dead in the Senate, the body has now voted to advance a $95 billion national security package that includes only foreign aid funding. The supplemental package includes roughly $60 billion in aid to Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel, and $10 billion in humanitarian assistance. It passed with a 67-32 vote in the upper chamber. Next come amendments, and then it will go to the House, where vocal Republicans have voiced opposition. If the money does start flowing, it will go to help a new top general of Ukraine's forces, Alexander Syrskyi, a commander of ground forces who President Zelenskyy just promoted to the post. Elliot Cohen joins us now. He's an Arlie A. Burke Chair in Strategy at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's start with aid to Ukraine. Congress hasn't approved any major funding for the country since the GOP took control of the House last year. What does Ukraine need most at this stage of the war?
Well, the critical needs are air and missile defense. You know, every night the Russians are going after Ukrainian cities, Ukrainian infrastructure, as well as the military. So that's one part of it. I think the other thing that's critical are a lot of consumables like 155 millimeter artillery ammunition. You know, the Ukrainians fire maybe a tenth of what the Russians are firing. Their weapons are better, at least the Western weapons are better, but they need quantity. And although the Europeans have stepped up a bit, the United States is really the only supplier that can give them the quantity they need. And then there's one other part to it as well. This is a critical moment in the war, and psychologically, it's extremely important that the Ukrainians believe that the United States has their back. And if they don't have that, then that's a significant blow as well.
Let me pause that point, which I want to get back to. But let me ask you about the America's European allies. How do they read what's going on in Washington, and what signal would it send if aid doesn't make it through the House, or basically doesn't make it through Congress?
Well, our European allies, who, by the way, have been doing more and more for Ukraine, and this has been underreported, and they are gradually mobilizing their defense industries. They're just starting from a much lower level than we did. They're very worried. They're very worried not only by the prospect of a Trump presidency, they're worried by what they see has happened to the Republican Party. I served in both Bush administrations, both Bush 41 and Bush 43. That was a very different Republican Party. It was the party of Reagan. It was the party of George H.W. Bush. It was internationalist, and they are extremely concerned when they see, you know, what really looks, frankly, like an isolationist wing of the Republican Party taking over. And this has repercussions well beyond Ukraine. I mean, I think that's the main thing that people need to understand. This would be a momentous watershed in our relationship with our allies.
You mentioned the psychologically important moment that is happening in the battle space at this moment. Explain a little bit what you mean there, and also can you connect that to the change in military leadership that we mentioned for the Ukrainian forces?
Sure. The war has gone through a number of phases. Of course, you had the initial Russian attack, a desperate and successful Ukrainian defense, and then the Ukrainians launched a series of counteroffensives in 2022, which pushed the Russians back very considerably. There was then a pause, a Ukrainian counteroffensive, which achieved some things, but not a whole lot. And now we're in a phase where the Russians are launching really massive attacks. Now, they're taking huge losses as they do it, but they are taking some territory. And what the Russians want to do is to convince the world and convince the Ukrainians that the Ukrainians simply can't win, which is not true, but that's what they want to do. So the Ukrainians are on the defensive on the ground, not in the Black Sea and in some other areas, and they are very hard pressed.
And very briefly, are the Russians getting better, or do they just have men and material and they're just swamping the Ukrainians as they had been before? Are they getting tactically better at fighting?
It's a combination of things. You know, at the purely tactical level, say small units trying to take a city block or something like that, by and large, they're terrible. I mean, they're just sending masses of men to get slaughtered, and then behind them they have better trained units that support them. But part of this is just throwing an enormous number of bodies at the Ukrainians, and they're taking heavy losses. What I think you can say is there are other areas in which the Russians are adapting much more, and that is particularly when it comes to developing large numbers of drones, acquiring new sources of supply from Iran and North Korea, and perhaps some of their higher level thinking about how they're conducting the war. I mean, this is like any war, it's a contest in learning and adaptation. The Russians were bad at that. They're getting a lot better, and that's a matter of concern.
Elliot Cohen from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, thanks so much for being with us.